Hello, welcome to the second in our series of videos where we address the myths of deliverance ministry. In the first one, we considered the question of whether or not deliverance ministry was for today and if it was fake. Now, we made the best possible case that we could that deliverance is a vital and necessary present-day ministry. We also gave you some of our own background and experience so that you can understand us better, and we encourage you to look at that first video again.
So today we want to consider the issue of physical manifestations that are often seen during deliverance ministry and whether they are a necessary part of getting free. There seems to be a common perception that it has to be messy and an almost violent affair.
That is a common theme, Phyllis, and people often ask us about that. When they come in and we explain our process for taking people through deliverance, some are quite frankly fearful about the actual ministry session and what that's going to look like. We use a 5-step deliverance ministry process, and the prayer time or the ministry time doesn't happen until the 4th session, so there's ample time to prepare the people for ministry.
We understand their point of view. I mean, the combination of YouTube, internet video, coupled with some of the Hollywood movies that people have seen, generally causes people to be concerned about what the session is going to look like. Are they going to get yelled at, knocked down? Are they expected to throw up?
Let's look at the movies first. One of the classics, if you could call it that, of course, is the original Exorcist movie. Now, I'm not proud to say that when it first came out in 1973, I went and saw that movie, and who can forget the pea soup scene and the head spinning scene?
Yeah.
They're indelibly etched in anyone's memory if you saw that movie. Now, just for the record, we strongly discourage people from seeing these type of movies because there's a lot of fear, and that opens the door for problems.
Yeah, that's right. And the Bible tells us that the eyes of the window are the soul. And we know that things that people watch and even music that they listen to can be an open door to demonic torment. And that's especially true if the person is traumatized or made to feel afraid. And these movies generally work towards moving you to that.
Now, there are many legitimate deliverance ministries out there where you do see a fair bit of manifestations when the spirits leave a person. And once again, you can Google this or look on the internet, do a search, whatever, on YouTube, and you'll find these ministries, and you'll see videos and a lot of manifestations, which can include crying, yelling, twitching, physical lurching, and yes, even vomiting at times.
So it's not necessarily a myth to say that deliverance includes physical manifestations, because people are oftentimes getting deliverance during these sessions. The question that bears asking is, does it have to include these manifestations, and can deliverance be done quickly, quietly, and gently?
To address that further, let's clarify something. God can and does move sovereignly to deliver his people from demonic oppression. And yes, it can be done very quietly and gently. We've counseled with many people who in their alone time with the Lord, or maybe at the altar at church or in some other location, maybe have chosen to forgive people or confess or renounce certain sins, and they have testified often that they've felt something lift off of them. And we submit to you and suggest that apart from any kind of emotional release, maybe just crying or whatever, that oftentimes these are demonic spirits that they feel and sense leaving them.
And that's the key point of emphasis for us. In our ministry, we use the term deliverance to mean spirits coming out of a person or driving out of demons that is referenced to frequently in Scripture.
That is a key distinction, Phyllis. And we do see indications that when people got deliverance, that there was a manifestation. In Luke 4:25, it says that Jesus called a spirit out of a man and that the demon threw him down and came out without injuring him.
And the same thing in Luke 9:42. We see that the demon threw the boy to the ground and then Jesus delivered him. In both of those accounts, we see two things. First of all, that demons could physically dominate the person. And secondly, when Jesus delivered them, that the spirits indeed did come out of them.
Yes, and we'd also like to make an important clarification before we proceed, that we're not trying to judge or critique others' ways of doing deliverance ministry. We respect the fact that others have different approaches, and we'll be the first to say that we've learned and continue to learn from not only from our own experience, but from what other people in deliverance ministry are doing. It has been our experience, though, that deliverance ministry can be done in a quiet and gentle manner with people. There does not need to be significant manifestations associated with getting a good deliverance.
And we think that that's the key distinction. We want to really be clear about this. We frequently do see manifestations when spirits leave, just as we mentioned earlier. Sometimes yawning, coughing, crying, twitching, facial connotations, sighing, and so on. However, if we see a person becoming violent, we stop, we bind up that spirit, and then we discern why we've hit a roadblock. And if we don't start yelling at the people, we don't physically restrain them. It's not our practice it's just our practice to look into their eyes, the windows of the soul, and firmly call the spirits out.
We are not proponents of making deliverance a spectacle or a show at the altar, because we think it's more effective if the person does have the time to prepare for ministry, and then it's important to teach them how to stay free afterward. Our experience is that when people are properly prepared, then it is generally very smooth and not a lot of manifestations, and certainly not the loud and violent ones that we mentioned earlier.
In fact, we found that spirits generally leave pretty quietly unless there's still a legal right for them to be there. And if we do get stuck in a session where the spirits won't leave, it's normally because of that issue. Jesus has given the church authority over demons, and we drive them out, and the demonic kingdom knows that. If it turns into a spiritual wrestling match, we feel need to yell loudly, then something is amiss.
That is a key point, Phyllis, because sometimes people ask us, well, gosh, why don't you folks just do, deliverance the way Jesus did? He appeared to just come across people, encounter them, and moved in love and power to set them free. It's an excellent question, and the best answer we can give is that the Lord has just shown us, for now in this season, that this is the most effective process, and it has been effective for us. People not only need deliverance, but they need to know more about the reality of spiritual warfare and the demonic realm, and how to prepare for it and discern when the spirits try to come back to the house. And we definitely take time to do that.
Yeah, and truthfully, doing deliverance the way Jesus did would be so much simpler and quicker. The reality is, though, that many people who receive deliverance ministry at the altar, where there frequently is a good deal of manifestation, often have a difficult time staying free if they get delivered at all. So preparation and teaching helps them to stay free, and we know that it helps lessen the severity of the manifestations when the spirits leave. In conclusion, we contend that deliverance does not have to include messy physical manifestations. Deliverance can happen with little or no manifestation at all in a quiet, gentle manner.
Okay, let's summarize what we've covered so far in our series. In the first video, we considered whether or not deliverance ministry was necessary for today and whether it was needed in the church, and we concluded and made the case that it is a real and viable present-day ministry. Secondly, in this video, we've tried to show, while there may be some manifestations during deliverance, it does not have to be messy and chaotic. In fact, if it's too messy and violent, then something's probably wrong, and we need more discernment in the session. Finally, we'd like to invite you to join us for the third Myth Buster video that's due out on July the 5th. We will be addressing the issue of whether or not Christians need deliverance. Do they need deliverance, Phyllis?
Yes, and please check back for that one. We hope that these are informational and they've been some value to you. And if you feel like they are, then please consider sharing them with others on Facebook, Twitter, and via email. We would really appreciate that. Thank you for watching.